Hi, I'm live with my apple elderflower with a little bit of water mixed into it. So it's nice and warm here in the UK. I'm not going to say hot yet, but let's not tempt fate. But on today's video, I wanted to talk about unraveling nerves because this is a topic that came up for somebody I was speaking to recently. So this is also a topic that comes up a lot for clients that I work with. Even the most confident, ambitious, driven people will either feel nervous about something or have nerves around something. You know, this is something that I discovered way back when I trained people to public speak or to give presentations. The most smart, savvy, switched on, clued up people would sometimes fall internally at the first hurdle for something that seemed quite innocuous, quite innocent. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn, thank you for commenting and sharing and all those great things over there. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, thank you so much. Thank you for those of you who comment, who message, who go over and find me in other places as well, because I am all over the place, metaphorically speaking, online. And if you are watching this maybe on Facebook or even on LinkedIn and you want to go over and see what all the fuss is about on YouTube, I'd like another 20 more subscribers. Because I really love growing my audience organically with people who get something from these videos. Okay, so if you're looking for me over on YouTube, just type in the @ Jenny Kovacs, my name there, and hit the subscribe button. And of course, if you're watching these on Facebook, I am Jenny Kovacs, the Queen of Being Seen, easily found by just typing in the @visibility vibe without the S. And my page will come up and you'll be able to follow and like that page as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So now we've got those announcements out of the way, let's get back to unraveling nerves. So recently, I was in a situation where somebody or a couple of people were taking exams, and it was really interesting. Just before they went into the exam room, I noticed a few behaviours that some were exhibiting and others were not. And as a people watching person and with a very keen interest and slight expertise in body language, which people don't often know about, and reading people's micro expressions, what that enabled me to do was just to like observe people. So I don't people stare, I people watch from a distance. And I noticed that there were different things that the people that were nervous about the about taking the exam did versus people who didn't appear nervous. We don't know what's going on inside someone's head, a bit like the swan, gracefully floating and, floating on the top of the water where underneath the feet are doing that. However, there were two things. So it got me to thinking, when I work with clients, whether that's in a one-to-one capacity, whether it's in a I call it a VIP capacity or an intensive capacity, where there's often just me and them, or there's me and their team, or a small group like the board or somebody like that. So in the past, I've also observed these similar things when it comes to being visible from marketing teams, from founders with their leadership team, with trying to think of some others. There was one particular person who was a doctor actually, who also had another business on the side. And with their team, I remember doing some work with them in this close way in London. And the reason that I like to work in that way too is because it accelerates the results, and we can get less generic and more in depth. So believe it or not, even though I share stories on these lives, and today is day 23, even though I share stories on these lives and share lots of tips and golden nuggets for you, they are just the kind of the wide generalization of things. But when I'm sat in a room with you or with your team, I can get to hear the specifics of what's going on for them. We can have a discussion, and in that discussion, transformation occurs, magic happens. So when I speak to these teams, and when I looked at some of these behaviours that the people for the exam were exhibiting or not exhibiting, it really honed in part of the vibe system. So if you're wondering, back in 2010, when I started this business, I actually inadvertently created a system. I didn't do it for marketing or sales purposes, but what I noticed were what were the key pivotal steps in order for someone to be visible with impact, to be able to articulate themselves authentically, to sell themselves, and sometimes to sell a product or service that they had or that somebody else had. So it could be for their business or someone else's business. And I see this a lot in two camps, in the entrepreneurial field and also in the business field. So in the entrepreneurial field, you've got freelancers, you've got coaches, you've got consultants, you've got authors, you've got speakers. Speakers are normally selling you themselves and a message that's important. Maybe they're looking to motivate you. Maybe as an author, the person's looking to have you see their way of thinking, because in fact, all of the authors that I've worked with, bar one, are non-fiction. Okay, so they're looking to sell a message to you, sell a service, and hopefully sell their book as well. You know, sometimes overtly, sometimes you become curious about what they're up to. So there are these pivotal steps to take. And in the first step, which ended up, just because of the way it was laid out, ended up being the vibe system. You can't make this stuff up. When I worked with a mentor and a coach as well, two different people at the same time. But when I worked with my mentor, who was a speaking mentor, we realised that if I had a queue of people lining up to work with me, that even though I would bespoke what they needed individually for them, their teams, their company, their business, that there would be certain like specific things that would be on repeat. Okay, so stick around for long enough and you'll hear them weaved in between all of these live streams and some of the written content that I post out there. So in the first step, the V, there are three main things underneath that, because each pillar has kind of different nuances, some that people need, some that people don't. But in the first step, there's visibility itself, for the V, there's vision, and there's video. So this ties in really nicely with kind of unpicking nerves, so, or unraveling nerves. So let's take the exam example. If you think about it, in order to believe something, you actually kind of see it in your mind. Now, a lot of people do this unconsciously, subconsciously. And I first came across this with nervous public speakers. They would unwittingly run like a video in their head of everything that could go wrong when they spoke, that they would forget their words, that their necks would flush, people would notice it, people would see they were nervous, people would think they weren't credible, that their voice would waver and people would hear it, that their lips would tremble and people would see it and therefore lose credibility. And if you think about it, and if you've ever been a nervous public speaker, even if you've overcome that, it would be playing out in your mind, consciously or in the background subconsciously. And what actually happens is, if you're nervous at something, one of my mentors, another mentor, used to say that we were not just creating the thing, albeit inadvertently, but we had this ability to make it happen even if we didn't want it to. So if you think about this, the nervous public speaker thinks about all the things that could go wrong: dry mouth, so then I won't be able to speak, I'll choke, I'll take a drink, I'll drop my drink on the floor, I'll trip up as I go on stage. And because they're playing this automatically, it's like they're rehearsing all of the things that don't happen. And in order to do that, that's how you do nerves. All I get to do, and I love this, the kind of light bulb moments that come through, is I get to speak to people conversationally. I get to hear what they're saying without kind of filters or special words or languages. And then I get to play back to them the things that might be more beneficial to them, or make observations on the things that don't work. So in terms of the vision, these people that were taking the exam that were really nervous, they must have envisioned all the things that could go wrong, because a couple of them did these things, and see if you recognize this in yourself. So some of them came super early. I'm not talking about being early for an exam, normal early. I'm talking about turning up maybe an hour and a half before the exam started. Now, in their mind, they were sitting and doing some last minute revision. But actually, what people in this kind of experience tend to do, whether it's the exam, whether it's the presentation, whether it's the act of being visible and putting yourself out there, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, whether it's going and having, going to the hospital and feeling nervous about it, what they actually do in that time is they want to use it to revise, but they actually use it to keep playing the tape, to keep playing the sound, to keep playing the video of whatever it is in their mind. And for those of you millennials and possibly younger, when I say tape, think video, think reel. And for those of us who remember back in the day, think cassette. Okay? I'd be interested to know as you're watching this which side of the fence you're on. Do you remember the cassette tape? Or are you saying, what on earth are you talking about, Jenny? I've seen my mum's got one of those, my granddad's got one of those, whatever it is. So in order for us to be nervous or to feel nervous, we actually have to do that to ourselves. And the thing is, we get so great at doing it that we constantly play it back. We get so great at doing it that we actually have that down on automatic pilot. So there were those that turned up super early, were hanging around, intending to study, but getting more nervous because they're playing these things around and practicing the art of being nervous for an exam situation. And then you had the person who seemingly sprang out of nowhere. I happened to observe them because I by chance saw them come into the building. Yes, they had plenty of time before the exam to get themselves settled, but they came in probably about half an hour, 25 minutes before. So they came in and they didn't kind of speak to everyone else. Well, are you here for the exam? Yes, I'm really nervous. They went, got themselves sorted, got all of their things that they needed, went into the exam room, sat down and went straight in. Now, I can't say what was going on in their vision, but what I can say is they displayed, even in their body language and their demeanour, a certain element, a big element of, I've got this, one foot in front of the other, do this thing next, and all of that stuff. Now, there are micro tells in body language, like, sometimes different things around the eyes, around the mouth, sweating, sometimes people will be nervous and they'll sweat. And there's these little micro tells as well. But on the whole, the people who were not nervous didn't display any of those. Whereas the people who were nervous, I could tell what they'd envisioned by the things that they were saying, the questions they were asking. They were basically asking about all the things that could go wrong. And that was, like, for me, as somebody who has trained in neuro-linguistic programming, so the brain, the linguistics, the language, not only that people use with others, but to themselves, and the programming, the way they think they should do things. It was interesting to observe and watch. So if you want to be more visible, if you want to put yourself out there, here's what I'd recommend for you instead. Think about, because yes, things can go wrong. I'm not telling you to bury your head in the sand, but think about the message that you have, the work that you do, the thing that makes a difference. Regularly get into the habit of thinking about the life-changing ways that it can help the people in front of you, the people around you, the world. When you keep tapping into that, you do the opposite thing of somebody who is kind of unraveling nervously. You start to build a pattern of how great the work is. It's the reason why I can come on and do these kinds of videos. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words written down to remind me, and already this is close to 15 minutes. I have no script. I have no fear about speaking to you. I know that people could comment and say, what a load of rubbish, don't like this. I kind of don't care, because I'm not focusing on all the things that go wrong. I'm not focusing on the vision of visibility where people don't like it, people trash it, people say horrible things, people laugh at my hair, people laugh at my glasses, people laugh at the way I say ask. Literally, it's in my awareness, but I don't give it any attention. I give it attention, or I give my attention when it comes to this visibility work to those of you who are senior level in corporate roles and wanting to make an even bigger impact, a better impact, and show your credibility. I focus and vision on those of you who are looking to become more senior, maybe go up the career ladder. Those of you who have got a responsibility of putting something strategic in place so that the visibility isn't just about being visible. So you speakers, you authors, you coaches, consultants, freelancers, even sort of for the founders and co-founders and owners of companies and businesses, my vision goes for you to be able to have the kind of vision that's compelling to the people around you, that has them do the things that you would love them to do for the business, for the brand, for the company, that has them in the process become a personal brand that's in alignment with those values that you sketched out and mapped out for your company when you started it, whether it was yesterday or, decades ago. The vision where you are able to articulate a strategy in a way that has people excited, that has people lean in and lean forward, whether they're your internal teams or whether they're your customers, your corporates, your clients. That is what I focus on. And that's why I can show up unapologetically and talk about this stuff no matter what. Saying hi to Debbie there. Hi, Debbie. It's really important to me that you are visible in the way that feels like you, that you get to make an impact in the way that you want to in the world, that you get to be able to share the stories or story of your life, your work, your business in a way that doesn't have you cringing, doesn't make you feel comfortable, but you can do it with confidence and credibility. You can do it with your energy. You can do it authentically. You can speak out authentically. And you can sell your products and services if that's what you do in your business. This, to me, is the most important thing. I cannot show up here and even feel nervous about saying that, because this is what I want for you. So you'll hear me talking a bit more over the next coming weeks about something called Iconic. If you can't wait to hear what that's about, then feel free to send me a message, and I can send you some early information. I ran Iconic back in March this year, and it was a 5-week experience. And let me just explain. I have to out myself here, because whilst I can make the most incredible online courses, I don't like making online courses where people buy it. Yes, they hear my words and then they don't get any impact. I love to run courses in a live way. So even if you can't make it, yes, it'll be recorded. Yes, you can play it back. But I like that two-way interaction, so that if you get stuck, if you've got questions, if you're looking at how to exponentially put yourself out there, that you can ask me those questions. And whether that's confidence on camera for video, whether that's Iconic, whether that's in a 3-day event, whether that's in a VIP or intensive day where we work together for the whole day or half a day, this is what matters to me, so that I can serve the best for you. So on a lot of my stuff, yes, you will get live interaction with me, and you'll also get the lifetime access, usually, to be able to go back again and again and again and listen back. So Unraveling Nerves. Think about, become consciously aware of what you do in your vision. I'm waving to Debbie and many others who have taken this 365-day video or live stream journey. And there was a point for all of us where we didn't want to do video. We didn't like doing video. We might have even felt uncomfortable about doing video. And the answer isn't practice makes perfect. The answer isn't jump and the net will appear. And the answer isn't even, we'll just keep doing it until you'll get used to it. All of us have had to change our vision of what we want. And that has been the smallest thing that has made the biggest difference to our success. So thank you so much for watching this. If you know of other people who have fitted into those very many categories that I spoke about on here, discreetly send this on to them, whichever platform you're on. You can privately post it to them as opposed to tagging them publicly. People somehow feel named and shamed when you do that, but you can click the link, share this with them. This is less than an episode of Bridgerton. This is less than most episodes of anything you'll watch on TV. So I've done the thumbs up sign and it's seen. So I reckon we should end with some confetti. What do you think? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Oh, we got balloons there. Maybe that's confetti. I can't remember the signs now. Or maybe I only saw one. Let me try this again. You're probably wondering why I'm doing this with my fingers. Da, da, da. There we go. Confetti, 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 confetti. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me. And if there's a topic that you would like me to cover to do with visibility, impact, video, vision, goal setting, selling yourself, sales, or anything else that I cover throughout the Vibe system, which was trademarked just January 2024, then let me know, send me a message, and I'll make sure that I do one of these for you next time. Thank you for watching. It's my Wednesday wisdom. Bye for now.